record. And then what we need for practice today is get that set up. Okay. What we need for practice today is just a chair, I think. And we're going to do some movement today. So my screen's a little crooked, so I'm just gonna straighten that out just a little bit. There we go. It's like one of those OCD things. I think I would it'd bother me the whole time if we were a little crooked. So it looks like we're much more level or straight on. So we're going to focus on moving energy. I have a plan for the month of May that will do a lot of things to spark energy and creativity and flow for the month. And I know that many of you have practiced this with me before, but for this first week, I was going to invite in the golden seed flow. And just a little bit about the golden seed. It's so when I say seed, just like we were talking about gardening a moment ago, think of a seed that you plant and it grows. I know that it's hard to hear sometimes over a recording, so I'm not talking about an ocean or a sea, and I'm not talking about like I see you, but I'm talking about a seed that plants in the ground. So the golden seed is a series of movements. This particular practice comes from China or the Chinese lineage of yoga. Most of the yoga that we think of comes from India, but you know, a lot of times these things developed at the same time, just sometimes in different areas. And so this practice will feel a little bit more like if you've ever done Tai Chi or Qigong, you'll kind of like, oh, that kind of feels a little bit like that. So we play with energy, and I think it's just a really lovely practice. We'll do some seated versions of the golden seed, some standing, and then we'll incorporate it into some of our warrior postures that we usually do. But let's start out with our breath practice. So another way to connect to our practice or our own body is to be aware of, you know, what's going on the inside. And so for a breath, go ahead and hold up one hand today. And then you're going to take the other index finger, or whichever finger you want, almost like you're going to trace around your hand. And you can just begin to see or feel how that feels. The idea is that every time you trace all the way up to the tip of a finger, you're going to inhale. And as you dip into the crevice, you're going to exhale. So you're going to inhale to the top, exhale down, inhale to the tip, exhale to the dip. And that's going to be your breath practice. So you're going to simply use your hand and the pacing of tracing your hand. So inhale up. And it's okay if your breath is slower or faster than mine. You can even close your eyes, which makes it more of a sensory experience. And if you feel like the other hand is being left out, once you make a round on the hand, just simply switch hands and start to trace the other one. One thing you might notice is because our fingers are different lengths, you might find that your breath is always like maybe even surprised, like, oh, wait, I'm still breathing in as you get to the tip. And so you just have to adjust your breath or hold at the tip before you get to the top if you're finding that you start to get out of sync with the inhale on the rise and the exhale on the dip. take about 3 more breaths or however long it takes for you to get to one side of your hand. Then, whenever you get to that side of the hand, you can simply rest your hands down for a moment. If there's an intention or any way you'd like to support your practice, just set that up for yourself here. And then we'll begin to shift towards some of our practice today or movement. So if your eyes were closed, you can gently start to open your eyes. You can take in or look around in the space. And then beginning the golden seed, there's a few rounds of breath. Like I said, there's a series of movements that we're going to do. So we'll build it gradually and then put it all together. And so for now, I just want to play around a little bit with the foot positioning because I think that, especially when we get to standing, that can be the trickiest part. So you want to start with your feet about outer hip width apart. So if you're a little closer in, just bring those feet a little wider. And then rock to the back of the heels and then to the ball of the feet. So we usually don't do much on the ball of the foot. We do more from the heels. So if you can anchor back more towards the heels. And then for a moment, go ahead and point your right toes out to the side. And then bring your foot parallel. And then point the left toes out to the side. And then bring your foot parallel. Now, if this does not feel good for the knee joints, you can skip all of this foot positioning. The next thing we're going to do is bring both feet out at the same time. So you're going to open the toes out wide, and then you're going to bring the toes parallel. And then you're going to bring the toes inward, which for some of you, it might go a little bit further. Some of you might not do much, like me. And then one more time, you're going to come back to parallel. So let's repeat all of those. You're going to go ahead and bring the right set of toes out to the side and return. Left set of toes out to the side and return. And then we'll go ahead and bring both feet out wide and then parallel the feet. And then finally turning the toes inward and parallel again. So that's kind of the way that the feet move here. Now we're going to come into our first energy or chi ball. So when I say chi, right, it sounds like I'm about ready to say the word cheese, right? Or we are in Wisconsin, but chi usually spelled C-H-I. Chi also means the same thing as prana and also means life force or breath, right? So it's that power that drives us. So go ahead and clap the hands together and start to rub the palms so that you begin to generate some heat or friction between the two palms. So you want to go fast enough that you're feeling that and getting that warmth between the hands. And then once you're feeling that, go ahead and pause. And then you might feel like a lot of staticky movement through the hands. You want to feel if you can feel a little resistance between the two palms. Everybody's going to be a little different in where you feel that field or that force. And then when we work with energy, you can almost think like you are going to sculpt around your chi. So I almost like to think of it as like packing a snowball. And so you can just start to sculpt it. You can make it any shape you want, though. You can make it a size you want. But hopefully you feel that there's this sort of sense of energy between the two hands or this sort of resistance field, right? Now, with energy, you can do kind of three things with it because we're going to collect energy and then we're going to move it forward. So you can move it within you, which we're going to do in a moment. You can surround yourself, which we'll do that also a little later. And then finally, you can share it or send the energy to either someone that you know needs it or just out in the universe in general. So this first chi ball that we created, let's go ahead and bring it within. So you're going to take this energy and bring it into your body. It could be into your heart, it could be into your belly. You're going to go ahead and push that right inside. Get it in there good. When you feel like you've drawn it into your body, you can let your arms rest for a moment. And sometimes energy can almost feel like it sticks in the hands. So you could even just kind of give the hands a little shake if you're feeling like the hands still felt heavy after releasing the energy. All right, so kind of take in how that feels. Now, every time that we create an energy or chi ball, right, you could rub the hands together. I just like to sometimes think I'm just sort of like almost like picking apples, but I'm picking energy. So I just kind of collect it from around me and then once again start to form and create an energy field in between the palms because energy is everywhere. And then once you've got your energy again, then we're going to go ahead and bring this up to the sky. So, everything that grows, everything that's vibrant, right? We go ahead and move it up. Now, just bring it up as high as is comfortable for you. You don't have to strain your shoulders, but we're going to hold that energy up and give it some light. And then from here, we're going to cast it around. Think of like my mandala or circle behind me. We're going to take the hands and almost like draw a bubble around us, palms face away from us. So you've got this nice little field of energy that's circling you. This is called push the walls away, right? So if you think of like pushing the walls away, and then go ahead and scoop that bubble back up, bring it in between the hands, right? We just made it body size. Now we're bringing it more compact again, and then bringing it back down to heart center. Once again, you can breathe and kind of feel into your energy. And this time, let's go ahead and draw or trace the energy around us, just like we drew around our hands for breath. Here, you're going to kind of silhouette your body and give yourself that energy just to wear almost like its own little jumpsuit that you'd put on. And then you can rest the hands when you let it go. All right. And if you are energy sensitive, just know like we're going to be moving a lot of energy. Just take a break if you need to anytime. But let's go ahead and collect and gather up a new energy field. Sculpt it any way that you would like. And now we're going to add a little bit on to the push the walls away. So you're going to take that energy ball, start to reach it up towards the sky. Now, as you bring the arms out wide for push the walls away, you're going to point both sets of toes out to the side. So you're going to bring the arms out and you're going to pivot and bring those toes out. Now, again, if this doesn't feel good for the knees, you can keep the feet parallel. That's okay. Push the walls away. You want more activity to this? Press your feet down into the floor like you're trying to lift your seat off of the chair. Now, as we come up, you're going to parallel the feet and you're going to collect that ball overhead, right? So reaching back up to high mountain and then go ahead and bring that energy here. And once again, you can breathe into it and sculpt it. And this time, let's go ahead and do that third thing you can do with energy, which is send it to somebody who needs it or send it out in the world. So then you just go ahead and cast that energy around or in the space that you're in. You can let the hands rest and see how that feels. All right, so we're gonna add the elephant trunk swing. These all have like lovely names. I think it's great. And a lot of yoga poses, I think this is true with a lot of fitness movements. We seem to call things animals. So if you think of the grace of an elephant trunk swing, right? We're going to do that with our hands. We do this movement usually in a forward fold, but I'm just demonstrating upright because otherwise when you're in a forward fold, it's going to be hard to see what we're doing. So just from standing here, you're going to swing your right hand out and your right toes point out at the same time if you're moving through the feet and the hands. And then go ahead and bring it back in. And you can try that again on the right side. Point the right toes out, reach the right arm out. You can even look that way if you want. And bring that elephant trunk in. And again, just thinking of the grace of a trunk. Let's do that on the left side a couple times. So you're going to open up to the side, bring it back in. And then once again, left toes point out as you swing the left hand out. And then bring it back in. So that is the elephant trunk swing. So we're going to put it together with our push the walls away. This is where, again, you're going to fold forward and do that. But just as we just did upright, if coming to a forward fold doesn't feel right for you, you can always do it standing. So go ahead and collect that energy ball. On your next inhale, go ahead and push that energy up towards the sky. And then flipping or push the walls away. So toes point out, hands out to the side. Pressing into the floor if you want a little activation to those legs. All right, parallel the feet on your next inhale. Sweep and collect that energy up above. And as if we're going to go and take this now giant energy ball and plant it into the earth, you're going to start to come to a forward fold and either push or just set that energy down into the earth. That needs time to grow. So we are going to do the elephant trunk swing. So here again, even though we're in a forward fold this time, on an inhale, go ahead and sweep the right arm out to the side, toes point out to the side. Exhale, return. Inhale, swing open to the left. Exhale, return. So we gave our energy some time to cultivate and grow. So now we're going to scoop it up off of the floor. And, earth usually adds density to things. So it's almost like a boulder now. And you're going to bring it halfway. Halfway means you're going to bring it up to about the knees. And you're going to have a long spine, almost like a halfway lift. And then finally, we're going to send that energy one more time up to the light, because that's also how things grow. We're going to take one more inhale and then bring that energy to heart center back in mountain pose. Now, again, you can sculpt, you can feel how this energy might feel a little different because it was earthed for a while. And now you get to choose. Do you want to bring that energy within your heart? Do you want to send it around you to protect you? Do you want to send it to somebody that needs it? Go ahead and send your energy where it needs to go. And then once you've let that energy move, again, you can shake out the hands if they still feel like they're hanging on to stuff, and pause. All right, so we've got one more thing that we're going to do for the seated version of the golden seed, which is the dipping bird. So again, I love all the names of these things. Dipping bird is always done twice, and so we'll practice this in twos. This is also where, if it's comfortable, you turn the toes in and you parallel the toes in between. So again, that isn't always the most comfortable for knee joints, but if it feels okay for you, just think of like a ski slope. You're going to point the toes in and sweep back, right? So bring the arms up overhead. For dipping bird, you take an inhale, and then as you exhale, you sweep the arms back and point the toes in. You can even hinge forward. And then on an inhale, go ahead and parallel the feet, reach up. And like I said, we do this twice. So sweep those arms, point the toes in, and pitch forward. All right, go ahead and reach back up. Release those hands, shake it out. Now we're going to put it all together. We'll go slow. So once again, go ahead and collect that energy field. Feel it in between the hands. Now we're going to send it up to the sky, high mountain pose, right? Exhale, push the walls away. So this is where we turn the toes out and bring the palms away from each other. Go ahead and gather that energy, reach it back up to the sky as you parallel the feet. And then exhale, we're going to plant that energy into the floor. So you're going to push it down into the floor, set it there as it grows. On an inhale, swing the right arm out to the side. Right toes can point out to the side. Exhale, return. Inhale, swing open to the left. And exhale, return. Now that energy's grown, so we're going to scoop it up and lift it halfway. So this is enough to straighten your spine and, properly lift a heavy object. And then go ahead and push that all the way up to the sky. From here, we're going to do the dipping bird. So this is like casting that energy, washing it across our body. So you're going to swing the arms back, point the toes in, reach back up. And again, whoosh, dipping bird twice. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. Parallel feet, bring those hands to heart. Once again, you have an opportunity to move the energy where you need it. Cast it around you, within you, or somewhere else it needs to go. And then pause for a breath or two. All right, let's do one more seated together, and then I'm going to offer doing this in a standing version, see how that works for your practice today. So once again, you can collect and gather energy. Now I'm moving full range, right? I'm bringing the arms up and wide and all of that. So just know as an alternate, right? If bringing those arms up to the sky doesn't feel good for the shoulders, you can go, up to the forehead or lower. Just stay in a space that works well for your body today. And then when you're ready, we're going to go take that energy into push the walls away. Like I said, you can have the arms fully extended. You can have those elbows a little closer if that's better for your shoulders. Just be kind to your body. I never want you to force anything that doesn't feel right. Okay. Then again, you're going to go ahead and collect that energy back overhead or whatever that is for you, whether it's arms up or a little bit further in. And we're going to come into that forward fold. So you can bring the arms down, you can push that energy down. And again, you could be a little higher, you could be in a full forward fold. Elephant's trunk swing. You're going to sweep open to the right, however high the arm goes, doesn't matter. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, sweep open to the left. Exhale, bring it back in. Go ahead and scoop that energy back up from the floor. And then once again, we're going to reach it to where it feels good for our body, whether that's high or a little high. And dipping bird. Take an inhale here. Exhale, whoosh the arms back. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, dipping bird. Inhale, reach it back up. Go ahead and gather that energy right in front of you. And again, send it where it needs to go. Maybe you're sending it to your other yogis that are in this space with us. It goes through the computer. Or I'd like to think so. Okay, so know that you can keep doing these seated. I'm going to start to bring this up to standing posture. And the only difference from how we usually set up, usually I have you have the back of the chair in front of you for doing the golden seed. I recommend having the seat of the chair closest to you to doing this practice. I think that that's a little bit nicer for the floor when we come to those forward folds. And then you are still setting up the feet. Now, if you did come up to the feet, play around with those foot positions that we were doing, right? We bring the toes out on individual feet. We do both feet. That's usually the one where you're like, whoa, that challenges my balance. Just hold on to the chair if you need to. And just see how that feels, and then we'll start to move into the flow. So you have all the steps. We're just going to try them now standing. So when you're ready from mountain pose, go ahead and gather your energy. Find that energy between the palms. On your next inhale, you're going to lift it up, whatever that is for you, however high that is. Now, this first one, this is push the walls away, right? So you can point the toes out, palms away from each other. Now, I did it straight legs, which just know that that is an option. You can also sink into a squat if you want, if that feels okay for your knees. Okay, next inhale, you're going to go ahead and parallel the feet, reach up to the sky. And this is where we're going to take it to a forward fold. So you're going to exhale, come forward. You're going to push that energy ball down into the floor. Bring your hands to the seat of the chair. On an inhale, elephant's trunk swing. So point the right toes out to the side if you're doing that. Swing right. Exhale, come back. Inhale, swing left. Exhale, come back. Now we're gathering up that energy, and this is that halfway, right? So you're bringing it about chair height, long spine. And then you're going to go ahead and push all the way back up to the sky. Dipping bird, right? Just make sure you have space to come forward. You're going to take an inhale here and exhale, whoosh the arms back, toes point towards each other. Inhale, collect again, parallel the feet. Dipping bird, second time, whoosh it back. Inhale again, reaching back up to the sky. Bring those hands back down to heart. Feel into that energy. And send it where it needs to go, whether it's within, around, or without. Once you've released it, go ahead and shake out the hands if they need to. Yeah, so from what I could see, this went well for you all standing. We're going to try and do 3 in a row. So I'm just going to keep us going. And it's a lot of fun. Now, the chair can be here, and I just want to give as an option, if you find that it's just kind of in your way, depending on how your balance is, seeing how you're feeling about it, you don't necessarily have to have that chair there. When you come down to the forward fold, your hands don't have to touch, but you can press into your own body for that elephant trunk swing. So just giving that as an option. I'm going to take the chair out of the space just so you can, again, visually see the body, see what it's doing. But you keep that chair in front of you if it is a good support for you. So once again, we're going to start out outer hip width apart. We're going to go ahead and gather our energy. You're going to start to feel that energy in between the palms. And then when you're ready, when it's sculpted, on your next inhale, go ahead and push it up to the sky or where it's comfortable for you. From here, we're going to push the walls away. So inhale and then exhale, push the walls away. Straight or bent legs, your choice. On your next inhale, go ahead and parallel those feet, reach up to the sky, and exhale, forward fold, pushing that energy down to the floor. Hands can come to the chair here if needed. On an inhale, elephant's trunk swing to the right. Exhale, return. Inhale, swing elephant's trunk to the left. Exhale, return. Now we're going to gather up that grown energy, come halfway. And then exhale, push it all the way up to the sky. 2 dipping birds here. Inhale, exhale, whoosh, the arms back. Inhale, reach it back up to the sky. Exhale, dipping bird. Whoosh. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. Collect that energy. Bring it to heart center. Sculpt it. And send it where it needs to go. Okay. Collect some more energy. We're going to keep it going. On an inhale, reach it up to the sky. Exhale, push the walls away. Inhale, parallel, reach up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, swing open to the right. Exhale, return. Inhale, sweep open to the left. Exhale, return. Inhale, scoop up halfway. Exhale, push it up to the sky. 2 dipping birds. Take an inhale here and exhale. Dipping bird. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dipping bird. Inhale, reach back up. Bring those hands back down to heart. Sculpt or feel that into your body. And then bring it where it needs to go, whether it is out, in, or around. Last one together. All right, gather up that energy. On an inhale, reach it up to the sky. Exhale, push the walls away. Inhale, collect back up high, high mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, swing open to the elephant's trunk. Exhale, return. Inhale, sweep open to the left. Exhale, return. Gather up that energy from the floor, bring it halfway, and then push all the way up to the sky, taking a nice big inhale at the top. Exhale for dipping bird. Inhale, parallel, reach up. Exhale, dipping bird. Inhale, reach back up. Bring hands to heart center. Feeling that energy near your heart. And then sending it where it needs to go, within, around, or somewhere else. Okay, if you need just a break to shake things out, to grab a drink of water, take a moment to do that. We're going to incorporate this into some of our warrior poses. So, just depending on how your practice is going, if you're doing it from the seat of the chair, we are going to incorporate the golden seat again. So it's going to be all those movements, the seated or standing practice to your preference. Warrior two is when you swing one leg over to the side and open up the arms. You could have that other leg extended. So that's the only other thing that we're bringing in. But I'm going to mostly do that demonstration from standing. So you might want to flip the chair around now and just have the back of the chair closer. It's a little bit more awkward when we come to forward folds, but also the back of the chair is that nice stability piece for our warrior postures. And so you might opt to have the back of the chair as your support or stabilizer. So as I always recommend, setting up for our first warrior two, it looks like everybody's back. Everybody's got a little hydration going, which is great. You can step or you can jump the legs out wide, but we're going to go warrior distance, right? So bringing those legs to a distance that feels right for you. I know there's no jumping in yoga, but it's just fun sometimes. Go ahead and put your right toes out to the side and then bend into that knee. And then you can open up those arms in warrior two. You can always hold on to that chair if you need it. Warrior two, press down through the legs, draw in through the belly nice and strong. And let's bring this into goddess warrior. So flip that right palm up to the sky and reach it up and back. Goddess warrior. Take an inhale here and then exhale, opening through warrior two. Come forward into extended side angle. That forearm can come to the thigh, other arm reaches up to the waist or to the chair. Again, you're doing the same thing if you are seated in this. On your next inhale, go ahead and rise back up, warrior two. You can relax the arms. You can hold onto the chair. Go ahead and straighten that right knee. Parallel the feet, and we're going to come to outer hip width apart, whether you hop it or heel toe those feet in. Go ahead and gather your energy. Feel that energy in between the palms, and then let it grow by reaching it up to the sky. From here, we're going to push the walls away. Scoop up that energy again, back up to high mountain. And exhale, let's plant that energy into the earth to really let it grow. Hands can come to the seat of the chair or your thighs. On an inhale, swing open to the right. Exhale, return. Inhale, sweep open to the left. Exhale, return. Coming halfway with that big boulder of energy, feel its density, and then pick it all the way back up. Two dipping birds. Take an inhale here. Exhale, whoosh forward. Toes can point towards each other. Inhale, reach up. Dipping bird, second time. Inhale, reach back up. Collect and bring that energy back towards heart. Sculpt it if you'd like. Send it where it needs to go, whether it's around you, whether it is within you, or sending it into the world. Lovely. Step or hop those feet, warrior distance apart. If you're seated, you're swinging your left thigh over to the side. Those of you standing, point your left toes out to the side and bend into that knee. Open up, warrior two. Warrior two, flip the left palm up to the sky, reach it up and back for goddess warrior. Goddess warrior, opening through warrior two and coming into extended side angle. And you can have that arm extended or held to support. On your next inhale, go ahead and reach back up to warrior two. You're going to relax those arms, extend that left leg, bring the feet around. If you're seated, you're swinging both legs around and setting up so your outer hip width apart. Gather that energy. On your next inhale, reach it up to the sky. Exhale, push the walls away. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, swing open to the right. Exhale, return. Inhale, sweep open to the left. Exhale, return. Go ahead and scoop energy from the earth halfway, and then lift that boulder of energy all the way up to the sky. Two dipping birds. Take an inhale here. Exhale, cast that energy across your body. Sweep it back up overhead. Second dipping bird. Reach back up overhead. Cultivate that energy, bring it back down to heart center, breathe into it. So our last energy, your chi ball. So we're going to take 3 breaths in. Each breath in can be an intention of what you need energetically. More energy, less energy, steady energy, calm energy. Every time you breathe in, you're breathing that into your chi. Every time you breathe out, you're sustaining it. So we're making a nice energy ball. It might be changing shape. It might be expanding. It might be becoming more dense. Now, whatever it is that you intended and put in there, we're going to give it to where it's needed, within, around, or without. Go ahead and send it there. It's a little extra energy. It might take a little bit to get within. So once it's in there, you can go ahead and let it go. Notice if you're still hanging on to anything. Shake it out from the hands if you need to. I love the golden seed. I hope that was a fun practice for you. We're going to start to bring it back down to some more stretch and kind of cooling things down. So I'm going to recommend coming back to the seat of the chair if you did stand up. And we're going to do a little bit of side bending. So it's kind of where one part of the body we didn't get to. Now I realize we've done a lot with the shoulders, kind of moving the hands this way and that way. So just remember that the arm is really just an extender to create side length through the torso. And so you could reach that right arm up and over, but know that it's just kind of a tilt over. So you could bring your hand to your waist and open up that rib cage, whatever feels okay for you at this point in practice. And then just take a couple breaths into that extension and length. Come back through to center. Notice what's stirring in your body, taking it over to the other side. It's pretty amazing when we stir energy like that, right? You don't think of the thing that you can't see as palatable and palpable and movable, but that's kind of the magic. It's magic of these practices, kind of the magic of yoga, in my opinion. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, come back to center. Let's do our seated twist before we do a little bit with the hips. So sitting tall, go ahead and start to look towards the right. You can bring your left hand across to the right thigh. Your right hand can hold onto the chair. You can also look right. Take an inhale here. Exhale, unwind. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Let's take it over to the other side. Take an inhale here. Exhale, unwind back to center. Good. Let's close with our gentle, or I shouldn't say gentle, hip stretches are sometimes feel really intense, but let's do a little bit with the hips. So we're going to go ahead, and if it works for you to cross ankle over thigh, you're going to go ahead and bring that ankle over thigh and let the knee fall open. The idea is that you're stretching into your seat, right? And you might find that stretch upright. You might find that stretch if you hinge forward a little bit. So I think I always tell you this. You can also go up, it's just you're going against gravity. So can do it that way. I kind of like it sometimes, but blood gets heavy pretty quick. So wherever you find your stretch, if this knee bend isn't working, again, our intention is to stretch into those glutes. So you could have the leg straight. You could prop it up on a block or something, and then you bring it towards your midline. That should get you access into those glutes, and hopefully some way that serves your body and stretch. So here, it may feel like the energy is almost a little stagnant because we're not moving and we're constantly flowing through the rest of our practice today. So in this space, know that breath is still flowing, and probably your mind and thoughts. It's not bad that our mind goes all over the place when we do yoga, right? It's a practice just like everything else. There's no proper way to do yoga. Our brains are designed to be creative and think, right? That's what they're there for, is to think and process information. But anytime you feel like it disconnects you from your body, because yoga is an embodied practice, you can do something like, oh no, I got to think about what my breath is doing. Oh, I got to pay attention or notice how my body feels. Think of how powerful our tracing of the breath was for our centering today. That connection of just feeling that sensitivity of one finger touching the other, skin on skin, right? Just how that felt. It can be pretty profound to connect breath, to connect to our bodies in that way. Okay, so we've hopefully softened some of the hip on this side. Hips are sometimes tight and don't necessarily unwind, but hopefully you feel a little bit more space on that side. So let's go ahead and release that leg down to the floor. You could extend the leg, you could shake out the leg, you could windshield wiper the knee. Before practice today, I was like, I think I need a little more coffee, but I think now that we moved all this energy, I don't think I do. So I think I'm good. All right, so setting up the other side, I always like to, my hips definitely remind my body and me, but hips are usually different side to side. So you can play around with these various options. You can cross ankle over thigh if that's not working. You could extend the leg, you could elevate the leg, but we're trying to get into that glute. You could lift the leg, right? Sometimes that's the best way to get a stretch. Just support the joints if you do that one. If you're not quite getting the depth of the stretch, you can always bring that belly closer to the thigh. That usually will add more sensation. And then just breathe. Notice what you notice. Again, your mind may be thinking about that glorious weather out there. It is amazing. I hope everybody gets to enjoy some sunshine today. Maybe you still have a bunch of energy surging around and through and around you, right? We did a lot of sort of kneading and mixing and stirring energy. So here's the time where you can just kind of soak it into your tissues and bones and soften into the stretch. Let's do this side for 4 more breaths. And if you're ready to release that side, that hip, go ahead and bring it back down to the mat. Shake it out. And then, as just kind of a final thing, you could be doing anything else in your body. If you're just like, I think my body wants to do that, I'm going to offer doing a seated 5 pointed star. We do this standing sometimes, but 5 pointed star, usually coming a little bit more to the front of the chair, is going to feel good. You want to extend the legs if it doesn't feel like you're going to slip or fall off your chair. And then you're going to extend your arms to where it feels good. So extension through the arms doesn't mean it has to be overhead, right? You can extend the arms straight out to the side, out to a T. You could go higher. Just find what feels good for you. And you could even lean back into the chair after you've scooted forward if that feels right. And then just expanding beyond the space, reaching out, maybe feeling like you're growing an inch by doing this. Taking one more inhale in. And then as you exhale, you can let the arms relax. You can bend those knees again. You can get comfortable on the chair, scoot back into the seat of the chair. I always forget I'm on like a hard metal chair. I know some of you have more padded things where scooting forward and back isn't quite as slick. So you might just have to scoot a little as opposed to slide back. But then let's take a moment for final Shavasana. Final Shavasana is that space where there really is no wrong way to be. Even though, I talked about the fluctuations of the mind and how our mind can go all these different spaces and places. You really don't have to direct your mind anywhere unless you really forget that you're in a yoga practice. And then you're like, oh, wait, I'm doing this thing. Then maybe just gently remind your mind to be present. But other than that, your mind can go as it needs to go or where it needs to go. Your muscles, your tissues, if you can get the muscles to soften, to relax. Final Shavasana. Shavasana is designed to be almost a reawakening or rebirth into moving forward, moving on with the rest of your day, moving on with the rest of your life. And so sometimes it takes, an extra hour of sleep to feel rested. And that may be true for your Shavasana or practice. Stay here a little longer if it still feels like you're soaking in the benefit and the energy of practice. Take your time. There really is no hurry or rush. But you might also feel that perfect amount of revitalization and that moment where it's ready to move again for you. If you connect to that stir within, you might breathe a little deeper. You might start to move through the fingers and the toes. But again, you can take your time. You can be doing this at any time, not necessarily with my cueing, but when it feels right for you. You might find that moving around in the wrists, the ankles, or bending elbows and knees might start to feel good. You might even find that once again, it feels good to take a big stretch throughout your body. Just as I mentioned, a reawakening, if you will. If there's a way in which you want to close out your own practice, just take a moment to do that. You can close a practice with gratitude. Maybe you're still feeling all the buzziness of energy moving around and through you. Maybe there's something else you want to carry into your day with you. Now, in community, if you're in a space where you want to join seated, just come up to a tall spine once again. You can bring hands to heart center or Anjali Mudra. Thank you for sharing your creative spark, your energy in this space today. I'd like to close with an Om. Know that you can join in with your voice or your ears, however you'd like to participate. We'll exhale, inhale, and then Om. So whenever you're ready, exhale out all the air in your body. Take a deep breath in. Peace, peace, peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your energy, your heart, and you in this space today. I hope that you do have a lovely rest of your day. Namaste. Okay, so I will go ahead and stop the recording. I'll stay on.